Hello, and welcome to another edition of Ballet Vero Beach Insights, where we pull back the curtain and give you some behind the scenes looks at our upcoming programming. I'm Katherine Eppink, principal dancer with Ballet Vero Beach, and I'm joined today by master teacher, choreographer, and director Yves de Bouteiller. Thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome.
Um, I did a little research for this interview, and I have to tell you that you are a very fun person to learn about because you've done a little bit of everything. So,
Mhm.
we're going to get into all of that, but I am so impressed with your career, and I immensely respect all of the accomplishments that you've been able to have.
Thank you.
Eve, you are French, obviously.
Yes.
And you did some of your training in Toulouse, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Did you grow up there or did you
Yes.
move
I
there
grew
full
up in
time?
Toulouse.
Hmm.
Yes, mainly in Toulouse, and then I started dance there and in a private school, and I stayed. Actually, I did all my training in Toulouse.
Okay.
I went for the summer to Paris, different places, summer programs, but my main teacher was in Toulouse. Yes, she was
Okay.
a principal dancer with the company there first, and then opened her own school.
You say you went to Paris to study very casually. That is like a dream. I would have been like, my
It
life
was
would have been made there.
was it was the thing to do at the time.
Yes.
You went to Paris for the summer.
Yeah.
It's far less structured than the summer program here, but at the
Okay.
time they were like studios where everyone was going. All the dancers from Paris Opera. You could see people like Nureyev and
Wow.
many stars from all over the world would come there to take class. So a lot of young dancers were going there for the summer.
Yeah.
And, I was lucky to have a brother that was living in Paris. So he would house me and I would take the subway and go every day. And it was fun. It was a lot of,
Wow.
yes.
Amongst the stars.
Yeah.
After finishing your training, you had a career with a company in France and also one in Belgium for a bit. And then you made the big jump across the sea and you joined Milwaukee Ballet
Yes.
as a principal dancer. Did you always know you wanted to dance someday in the United States, or is that just sort of the path that your career took and so you went for it?
Well, there are several things. I really enjoy doing a lot of different companies. So I started in France, then I went to dance with Maurice Béjart, which was a very important choreographer at the time in Europe, and he had his company in Belgium. So I danced in Brussels. Then I went to another company in Brussels too that was a little more, I would say the repertoire was more classical at the time.
Okay.
And then I moved to Germany for several years, where I danced in Düsseldorf at the Opera House. Went
Mhm.
back to France, and at the time, one former dancer of New York City Ballet, Alfonso Cata, had opened a company in the north of France, and mainly it was a Balanchine company, which,
Mhm.
there were many Balanchine ballet in other companies, but it was one or two ballet per repertoire in other, but
Right.
the main repertoire in Ballet du Nord was Balanchine.
Oh,
And
nice.
so I loved dancing his ballet, and then a lot of American, personalities came,
Mhm.
Suki Shore came, Vicky Simon, John Clifford came and taught us and coached us. So, my interest was already in the United States because I knew it was
Mhm.
different here. But then after that, it was even more. And so, with meeting all these people and everything, I was like, I wanted to experience what it was to be a dancer in the United States. So
Yeah.
that's how it happened.
Oh, I didn't realize that you had some Balanchine affinity. That makes sense though, because we'll talk about your choreography specifically later, but now that you say that, your musicality is very reminiscent to me in the
Hmm.
way that he plays with music and the quick footwork and things like that. So
Oh, thank you. That's a big
that makes a
compliment.
lot of sense. Okay, so you're in the United States, you're dancing for Milwaukee Ballet, you start having some choreography opportunities. Did
Mhm.
you approach your director or talk me through that first professional choreographic job.
So it was a very interesting situation because when I moved to the United States, like in Europe, you have a full year contract. So you
Mhm.
have, 5 to 6 weeks, paid vacation and everything. I moved to Milwaukee and then we had, I think pretty much 3 months off. And I was like, yes, we had unemployment and everything. It was
Yeah.
completely new to me. I was like, what is happening? And so, there was an opportunity to do a performance in the summer with an orchestra that had an outdoor performance. So I started to choreograph for this. And then I was like, well, why don't we do a small company when we're off and, with 8 to 10 dancers and everything. So no, we started like this. To tell you the truth, it was not, something the director of the main company looked into at the time. It was very new. No one was doing this.
Okay.
Then
Mhm.
after we did it, everyone, even principal dancers in ABT and everything, started to have their own little groups. But
Yeah.
when I did it, which I did it really not even thinking, because coming
Mhm.
from Europe, I didn't think it would be any problem with the main company because we didn't have work at the time. They
Right.
didn't see it that way, probably because I think there were two things. They were afraid of funding being diverse to our small company, which was not really a good reason. And I think there was a lot of insecurity too of having, dancers taking a little more opportunity to make decisions for themselves. I don't think it was very well seen at the time. That
Mm,
was when I moved to the United States, it was 1989. So it's a long time ago. Since then,
yeah.
things have evolved quite a bit,
Right.
which is good. It's very good.
Yeah. I can think of several professional dancers with huge, huge names that have,
Yes.
I think we call them pop-up companies
Yes.
now for
And,
that
and look
reason.
at Wendy Wellen did one,
Exactly. That is one I was thinking.
Yes. But I think
Yeah.
even in ABT, there were like several people that
Okay.
did that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but you kind of were before your time, maybe.
Yes, it was,
Yeah.
just the word of saying it was a chamber ballet
Yeah.
company was very new for people. And they were like, what is this? And everything. And really, for me, it was mainly to be with dancers and do some, dancing in the summer and also have the opportunity to start choreographing. Yes,
Right. Right.
professional dancers.
So during this time, it seems like you were able to start your repertoire with a large body of work. I know that you have a full length Alice in Wonderland that you maybe worked on during that time and a Romeo and Juliet.
Mhm.
How did you decide what pieces to make? How did you decide what to choreograph?
There were many different aspects of that. For Alice in Wonderland, it
Mm-hmm.
was a question also of being able to tour a ballet that could go to schools that would be
Mm-hmm.
interesting, and also try to make the costumes and sets, available for quick touring to, sometime one school a day for a week or something. So there was that aspect of things. Then it became more of a creative aspect because there is no score for Alice in Wonderland. So I had to find many different pieces of music to do
Mm-hmm.
the scenes for Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah,
Uh,
so kind of a
so
combination of function, but also what was inspiring to you and
Right. What
interesting
would
to you.
also keep the interest of the children that were coming to see us and everything.
Yeah.
So there was that. And then for Romeo and Juliet, it was a different story. It was Festival Ballet Providence, the director
Okay.
at the time, that asked me if I would do a production for them.
Okay.
So I was always interested, but it really took many more dancers than what I had in my
Yeah.
company. So, that was the opportunity to do that.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen your Romeo and Juliet, but when I saw that, I was like, ooh, awesome. I'm gonna have to talk to Adam. We're into little
That
scenes.
was fun. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful ballet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure it is. I would love
it
to
was
see it.
Prokofiev, and it was such a great opportunity to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. While you were in Wisconsin, you started a school as well. Is that right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
And so you were now choreographing, you were directing the school,
Yes.
and you were also traveling to choreograph for other companies, like you mentioned.
Yes.
How, Eve? I need to know, how did you balance all of these things at once? Were you still dancing too?
At the beginning, I was,
Wow.
yes. And guesting and everything.
Oh my gosh.
But then soon enough, I was like finding that dancing was, you know, I had a pretty high idea of what I wanted to produce on stage. And by doing all this, I started to feel that I was not paying attention to myself anymore, enough. So
Mhm.
I decided to retire and just start to concentrate on choreography, and then also the directorship, the artistic directorship, and also the directorship of the school. Yeah, when we started the school. Yeah.
That's, yes, many hats, and hats
Yes.
off to you because that is hard. Okay, so tell me about then Channel Islands Ballet. When did that come into play during all of this? Were you directing both companies at the same time?
No, what happened is we went, one of our dancers was from Ventura, California, and
Okay.
there was a Nutcracker that was a production that was there for a long time. She had danced in it and everything, and they were looking for professional dancers to guest,
Mhm.
and so she said, "Well, we can come and and we can have, you can have 8 to 10 dancers." So we did that the first year. And then they
Mhm.
were interested in having the company there. But I was like, no, I'm not moving because
Mhm.
I'm in Milwaukee and, I have, my board and everything there. But
Right.
then for some reason during that year, then we lost our studio.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, the owner of the studio said you have to move, and it was
Mhm.
very difficult to find a space. And then, if I wanted a bigger space and everything, the board wanted me to sign up for 13 or 15 years. And at
Mhm.
that time of my life, I was like, that's a long time, and I was not ready. And then so I just said to the people in California, well, if you want to, have me there, there is your opportunity. This is what is happening. And they said, well, then, come. And so that's how it happened.
And this is kind of where Ballet Vero Beach did not exist yet, many
No,
years until that. But you did meet Adam, our
yes,
director, our artistic director there. Um, he was a dancer for you, and
yes, he was.
he
Joined the
was
company.
in your West Side Story suite.
Yes.
Did you choreograph it on that company, or did you bring it
Yes.
with you?
It was
You did.
brand new at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Adam loves West Side Story Suite. Your choreography is stunning. He loves it so much. He bought it for Ballet Vero Beach.
Right.
And you came and set it on myself and my dance partner at the time, Anders, and the dancers at Dimensions. And then right before opening, Anders broke his wrist.
That's
So
right.
if you're watching this and you come to the show, you'll see in the first like 60 seconds of the piece there's this huge press lift for the male principal, and so a broken wrist isn't really going to work
No.
throughout the piece. But so then we restaged it for the following year, and Anders broke his ankle.
Yes.
So finally it made it to the stage in 2024. So sadly for me, I was 8 months pregnant, but I did
Right.
get to see it from the audience, and it received a standing ovation. Vero Beach loved the ballet, and there's no really questioning why. It's a stunning work. What did you like about the story of West Side Story that you were compelled to create a ballet for it?
Well, I saw the movie when I was young. I think I would say 13, 14, probably, when I went to see the movie in France. And I mean, I fell in love with it. I thought it was a
Mhm.
beautiful, movie. I loved the dancing. I loved everything, the music.
Mhm.
And so it's something that stayed with me forever. And then that West Side Story suite is such a beautiful piece of music. And so these images of the movie kept coming to me through through the music. And I was like, oh, it would be really nice to not do a, narration of the story, but just have these images in my head coming to, in the, also with the ballet vocabulary.
Mhm.
And so it was interesting to me to just like listen to the music and let, the images of the movie just bring me to, the choreography. So that's
Yeah.
mainly what happened. And I love that music. Just love it.
Oh my gosh, the music is amazing. Whenever we're rehearsing it, it runs through our heads over and over because it's the best. And it's so West Side Story Suite that we're performing, it's kind of like a medley of the music, all
Right.
instrumental. And like you said, you definitely have elements of the plot in the story, but it's not a narration. We're not telling you what to feel at this moment. It's you've got your characters that go through beginning to end and their sort of roller coaster. But it's not so in your face, this is the story, which is what I think pairs really well with ballet and the steps that you've chosen. It's just kind of ethereal and sweeping.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted, people to look at it and remember the story, but not particularly wait for every single moment to be there, and just let the music bring them to,
Yeah.
to that story.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think that you've done that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. So let's see what else. I have little notes here. Um, After Channel Islands, you worked with several other companies, and now you are currently the associate director of Turning Point Dance Studio in Massachusetts. So, what are you up to now? Are you still choreographing? You're obviously still teaching. What's next for you?
I think, choreography is always there.
Yeah.
When the opportunity happens, I choreograph here with the school, with the advanced students, and also a lot of solos, for certain students. I have moved more to teaching. I mean, granted, that if there is any opportunity for choreography, I
Hmm.
really love doing this, so I will do it. But
Hmm.
I also find it very fulfilling for me now to transmit everything that I have acquired, not only through dancing but through choreography and
Hmm.
artistic direction and everything. So I think right now, also I'm working with my a former dancer of mine, Laura Shortino, that was actually also a partner with Adam.
Hmm.
And so we have a great relationship, and we have a good vision of how we want to teach the students. And my theory is that we're teaching ballet, but we also teach them how to become young adults and how to behave in life and how to relate to other people, and how when we go to ballet competitions, how they behave, how they relate to other schools, and so for me it's like more than just teaching them steps and artistry. It's also who they are as a full person at the end when they leave the school. So it's been quite a journey, and I love it. I really do love it.
I really appreciate you saying that because, of course, the dance steps are top priority if you're wanting to become a professional dancer. But there's so much more that goes into that, and more that goes into being a person and living a life. And taking ballet can lead you down so many different paths. And when you're building those skills that you spoke about, it just lends itself to many opportunities. I had the pleasure of coming up to Turning Point to do a guesting in December and 2 years prior to. And my partner Franco and I were both so impressed by your students. Amazing dancers. But we were also like, these are such employable students. They're so professional in the way they conduct themselves. And that's something that's taught. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that because that is such an important element in choosing a ballet academy and just finding the right teacher and fit.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try really hard for them to be independent, to be respectful, to be to be on their self-esteem, to be aware of who they are, and not to be afraid of asking questions, to go and meet people and to audition for certain things. All these things are important, because yes, of course, it's very important what we do in the studio, the technical aspect, the artistry, when we coach and everything. And then when they have to go alone in the world, they need to be able to function and feel confident about
Right.
that.
And one of your former students, Darian Santos, is actually in the company at Ballet Vero Beach. So that's a
Right.
great full circle moment for
Yeah,
We're
we're
gonna,
very, very
yeah,
proud of him. Very
yeah,
proud of him.
yeah. We're
Yeah.
so happy to have him. He's wonderful. Okay, I think we did it.
Okay.
So, West Side Story Suite will appear in our program 3 on April 10th and 11th in Vero Beach. It will be alongside a second full company piece choreographed by Camilo A. Rodriguez. And for tickets and all things Ballet Vero Beach, you can visit www.balletverobeach.org. Eve, thank you again.
You're
So
welcome,
wonderful
Katherine.
to talk to you.
Always nice to see you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.